Hi, everyone. We are back with our fifth and final committee launch. If you have not been following along, we've been launching a new committee every single week throughout the entire month of July, really focusing on all of the extended initiatives that AIME would like to get into, focus on, make sure that we're maintaining priorities in areas that are the most impactful and effective for our members. And the Education and Outreach Committee is one that I am so excited about. This is a passion project of mine for sure. I will be very, very involved with this committee moving forward. We have with us today 3 of our 5 committee leaders, Tyler Hodgson, Claire Mahoney, and Michelle Dugan. If you've been around BAB at all ever, you know at least one of these 3, if not all of them. They have offered so much and contributed so much to our community and offering to help educate people, whether it's on VA lending, working with underserved communities, community outreach in their local areas, communicating and understanding how to teach real estate agents what brokers have to offer. There's all kinds of audiences that we want to tackle. First, I will let each of y'all kind of introduce yourselves and also just talk a little bit about why you are excited to be a part of this committee and what you're excited to focus on. So we're going to go top to bottom to make it easy. So Tyler, we'll start with you.
Well, obviously you saved the best for last, so thank you for that. Yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of this committee. I think it's going to be just very good for us to have AIME members involved in, an initiative that's so big and so important in our community. So I agree with you, Katie. That's something that I'm very passionate about, is education and training, even mentorship type things. So I'm really excited about educating brokers and even loan originators. So teaching retail loan originators more about the broker community and why brokers are better, but also teaching new brokers, new broker LOs, show them the ropes, show them how to be successful, show them how to run a good business and build a good reputation and relationships. So that's something I'm definitely excited about. Obviously, consumer education, teaching home buyers and homeowners, and even realtor education. I think realtors can sometimes be the ones who need a lot of the education, so that they know home lending and they understand what their piece is and what our piece is, and they can educate the consumers as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to be on the committee, so thank you, and looking forward to serving the community further.
Awesome. Yeah, there are a lot of audiences that I think this committee is going to wind up touching, a lot to tackle there, which is just, it kind of gets you pumped, man. I don't know. I'm excited about it because I think there's a lot of educational content that we haven't focused on in the past that could be really meaningful for everybody that you just mentioned. Claire, what about you? What are you excited to get involved with here with this committee?
I mean, I agree. It's exciting that there's like so much potential for where we can touch. I think probably the 2 that I feel like most excited about are consumer education, just because, we say, at least I say all the time, brokers are better, and like explaining the why behind that is so important. And the reputation of the word broker has come a long way in the last few years, but for a lot of years it had it was like a dirty word. And so I am excited to be able to kind of equip other brokers with responses to those kind of questions from consumers, or how to like defend our model and why we believe in it. And then same thing with realtors. I'm married to a realtor, and I joke all the time that he sometimes is a bigger advocate of the broker channel than I am, because he's just so passionate and excited about explaining it, and he likes to explain it to other realtors that he comes in contact with. So that is just something that is huge, because realtors are often the ones in our consumers' ears too. So having them further understand the differences between retail and broker and bank, and the benefits of the broker channel and why that really is the best place for a consumer to get a loan. So just kind of equipping mortgage brokers for how they can just have messaging kind of ready for pitching why we do what we do.
Absolutely. And it's something, I think this whole year we've tried to take a lens of how do we we say that brokers are better, but how do we prove it? And this is such the opportunity to be such a strong conduit for those conversations, to be able to say, here's why, whether it's certifications that have been completed, so we know that the broker education or the LO education is higher in our channel or with our members than it is in other areas. Consumer education, clear to your point, to help them understand the differences of what their options are that are out there. Michelle, you actually were on the the panel with me at Fuse Virtual last year that sort of launched the idea for this committee. When I was sitting at the end of last year thinking about where AIME's focuses need to be and what we needed to continue to push into, the panel that we did on serving underserved communities was the launching point for the committee structure in general, and then ultimately education and outreach. So you've been with me on this even unknowingly since the very beginning. I'm excited to hear from you. What are you really interested in getting engaged with and ready to get going with this committee?
So education, just in general, to me, should be the backbone of, I feel like, every originator's focus. I feel like if that we're not able to effectively serve our customers, if we're not educated. I'm kind of a self-professed guideline nerd. Like, I've literally sat and just read the full 4000.1. I've read the entire VA handbook, and I know I can't just regurgitate it all off the top of my head, but when we don't know what is out there to offer, then I feel like we're doing a disservice to our borrowers. So that part of things is super, super important to me. I'm really excited about that. And then just, educating about the broker community in general. I truly, believe that we are the best way to get a mortgage, because we're not just trying to put every single borrower into a single box and with a single option. So I'm excited to help, educate about that, because that's also something I'm really passionate about. And just any way that we can help grow the broker channel, make us better originators, and kind of like Claire said, teaching realtors, why do you want to work with me as a broker? Here's why. And just spreading the word and getting it out there.
Absolutely. Now, each of y'all have a ton that you bring to the table and expertise in a lot of different areas, but there's sort of one in particular with each of you that I want to touch on some of your kind of gut reactions on ways that we can start to educate around specific topics. So Tyler, I'm going to start with you. You have grown your team significantly in the last couple of years. You've been able to recruit, to train internally, and to grow a team that is self-sufficient in the best way possible. Right. How can we help other brokers in our community who want to grow and want to scale but don't know where to start? How do we help start teaching them those things? Is it training programs? Is it video content? What are those themes that you think are the most important if you want to go from a 2-person team to a 20-something person team in a couple of years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it's definitely difficult trying to educate someone else to be really self-sufficient, and education in general is just very difficult because it's so easy to think, okay, put some PowerPoint slides together, sit and watch this, or sit and listen to this video, and now you're going to know it. You're going to know how to do it. So I think, we need to focus on educating differently, using different methods of education, and teaching someone how to find answers, teaching someone how to help themselves, sort of. So teaching them the skills to know where and when to look in certain areas, when to reach out to certain people. And that's what I try to instill in my team, is like, if everyone just came to me with a question every single time they had one question about one scenario on one loan, there would be 5 people walking to my office right now. So, I've tried to equip them with knowing where to find those things. Like Michelle mentioned, can you open up the 4000.1 or the VA lender handbook, or search Fannie Mae guidelines quickly and find the answer? Having chats and forums that allow you to find resources quickly. So I think that's really important. A lot of our training material is hands-on training, working through live items. So that's going to be something that I think we should explore here, is how to get people doing real life scenarios, which it's always hard to make. I wish Chris was on the call right now, because he can relate. Being in the military, it's like, and me being a Marine veteran as well, how do they train us to go into combat in a life-threatening situation when there's not a life-threatening situation? You're in an office in a building. So how do you make those real life scenarios more realistic in training? And that's what it is. It's like, tough, realistic training to allow you to be equipped to go into battle. Chris would have a way better motivational speech to tag along with that. But that's the best I got. But yeah, I think, really the key main thing is like allowing people to know where to find answers, and AIME's a huge part of that, because there's so many things in AIME. Like I log on the AIME website every couple of weeks and I look at all the different partnerships and programs and events, like everything that's going on. It's like one of our jobs is going to be to help disseminate that information into the community, because there's so much information, there's so many resources available, and sometimes I don't even know what's available. Yeah. Katie, you probably don't even know what's available.
I don't know it's all. Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's a big part of our initiative as well.
I love that. And it's that self-accountability. I've said it a million times with this team here. They're probably tired of hearing me say it, but if they come and ask me a question, my first response is, did you Google it? And if you can't say yes, then you leave and go Google it and then come back once you've Googled it. Like if I can find the answer in the 10 seconds that it took you to walk over here and ask the question, then you can probably find it too. But it's teaching. It's, what is that? The old adage, teach a man to fish, right? Don't give a man a fish, but teach him how to do it. Claire, you touched on, obviously you are married to a real estate agent, but you've been very tied into the mortgage industry your entire career. So you've seen a lot, even outside of your relationship with Matt. What are some of those things that we could be doing, or how do we help communicate with real estate agents, those key factors, whether it's product knowledge, right? Because they oftentimes are the greatest barrier to getting somebody into a home with a VA loan. It's usually the agent, not the seller themselves, right? With why working with a broker is different than working with a banker, what those variances are. How do we communicate that with that audience?
Yeah, I do think that, realtors are like speakerphone to, or like, a megaphone is a better word, but they are in front of clients a lot of times before they ever get to us. Realtors are a sexier job than a mortgage broker. Like, I don't want to tell you what I make and what my credit score is. Like, I want to see the pretty house and the fun backyard. And so, I think getting our messaging of who we are as brokers and what that means and what the benefits of that are is huge to get that like really in the mouths of realtors, because they're going to spread the word faster than we can. And so, a lot of like, just figuring out how we can reach them, especially being creative with, COVID rules of, you can't necessarily just drop in a real estate office and find anybody anymore. So maybe that's through video, or using, platforms where it's maybe not on your social media, but like a video text message to get to them, or just kind of coming up with creative ways to have little sound bits of some key points that can help myth bust and just provide some insights on different loan products. Like especially like the VA loan program, there's so many misconceptions about that, and realtors are like the worst in spreading bad information about that loan in particular. So, I do think, and I'm also a second generation mortgage broker. So I'm in business with my dad. He's done this for like 35 or 40 years. So, and something that he's always said since I was new in the industry 8 years ago was, you just have to have the posture of you're always a student. So that's another reason that I'm excited about this committee, because it's not just about like us telling everybody else, like, here's this education that we have to offer because we know it all. You're always learning, and as soon as you stop learning, then you should be worried because you're going to get left behind. The guidelines are always changing, and programs are changing. So to be always looking for the information and trying to find the newest, latest updates to make sure you're up to date is huge, because if it was that easy where you didn't have to really pay attention to that stuff, then our jobs would go away. Like a lot of times I have, LOs or processors that kind of like complain to me of like, oh my gosh, the rules changed again. And like, just when I thought I had it figured out. And I'm like, you know what? I get excited when the rules change and when the guidelines change, because that is like job security. Because if it was that easy, nobody would need me, and we wouldn't have a business, and we would not have clients, because they would just do it online with the whole one-click mortgage thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to help even just spread that message of like, we always need to keep learning, and be able to communicate that to real estate agents too, to have that kind of set us apart, to just be that much more of a master in our craft.
Absolutely. And, VA lending is going to be a common theme, I think, with this entire committee. Everybody who's engaged is very involved on that side. Michelle, Chris obviously is very involved with Vetted VA. He started it. Michelle, I know that you're very involved with Vetted VA as well. You are also a very strong advocate for working with and helping consumers that don't typically have the same access to information or the same representation, and helping them feel like they know what's going on and they're comfortable. You, if I'm remembering correctly, kind of built your initial career when you started your brokerage on working with consumers with bruised credit or lower FICO scores that didn't really understand or know what financial planning looked like and how to create financial security. Is there anything there that we can really focus on or touch on to help those communities that don't typically have access to finance knowledge, planning for their future so they can become homeowners?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when you empower a borrower to learn more about mortgages, finance, any of that in general, you are creating a huge advocate for your own business. So on one hand, you're helping them. On the other hand, you are creating a huge cheerleader for you, and they're going to spread your name and they're going to talk about you to everyone. Because when you take a borrower who thinks that they could never purchase a home and you help change their life and help them get into a home, and then that it's literally life changing. They're going to talk about you. They're going to talk about, they're going to spread, I guess, the information and to anybody that they know that's like, oh, I'll never be able to buy a home. They can let them know, no, you're wrong. You can. This is what I did. And so it's a good platform. I think if someone especially is new to the industry, and it's easy to try to find like the conventional loans, but anybody can do that. So if for newer originators especially, yeah, it's hard. Like, you have to learn the information, but if you actually sit down and you read the guidelines and you learn them and you know them and you're confident in them, and then you start going out to real estate agents and say, hey, look, I don't want all your business, but just throw me a bone. Give me one that somebody else can't do. Give me a hard one and I'll knock it out of the park for you. And then you do a few of the hard ones. And then at that point, it's like, hey, I'm making all of these a slam dunk for you. Now start throwing me some of the better stuff. And then as those borrowers that you are empowering and, getting into home ownership, as they live in their homes longer, what's going to happen? Their credit's going to get better. They're going to become those conventional borrowers that make our lives easier, honestly, most days. So yeah, I'm really passionate about that. It was kind of the meat and potatoes of where my career started. And however I can help other originators do that, it's super passionate, or I'm super passionate about it.
Yeah. Well, and I think everybody that's involved in this conversation is, right? I think one of the things about this committee that I'm really eager to see, particularly with the people who are serving as the leaders, is that every single one of y'all is really, really passionate about making somebody else's life better. You've all built your careers off of bettering the consumer's life, your team member's life, whatever it is, everything that you touch, the focus is on helping them learn so that they can then excel in the future. And I think that that's so powerful. And I think our ability to help the rest of our community now leverage that themselves is something that's going to have a lasting impact that's hard to rival. I think it's one of the most impactful things that we could be doing is helping people understand how to educate others. Can't really stop. Once somebody knows how to do it, then it's just getting them out there and encouraging them to go take the world by storm. I have one last question for y'all. There's a lot of stuff going on with this committee. We've touched on consumer education, real estate agent education, team member education, business growth, Spark and Ignite. Both of those programs are going to be very impacted by this committee as well. So our Leadership Academy, helping people transition from retail to wholesale. Our mentorship program, AMP, is also a part of this group here. So for each of y'all, and I'm going to start from top to bottom again, because I put Michelle on the spot on an interview that we did earlier today. So now I'm going to put Tyler on the spot and I'm going to give Michelle some time. What would you say to members that are out there that want to get involved with this committee, how to do it? Should they be reaching out to you? Is it posting in Fab? Like, what would you like to see from our community to contribute to the output that this committee is trying to create?
Yeah, I'll just put Michelle on the spot, and everyone should send a message to Michelle. She'll be happy to take your calls. Now, yeah, I think obviously the more members involved in this committee, so it's not just us committee members, but just the community members in general, the more people who are involved in, creating content, posting good information on the Brokers Are Better Facebook group, asking scenario questions, showing people how to find answers, and not just, giving snarky remarks or being funny like I always am. Getting involved in those types of things, letting people know about the other resources and events that AIME offers and that we have in this awesome community, that's going to just help better all of us and equip everyone here and the other members to be able to go out and do the things like educate consumers, educate realtors, educate retail loan originators who should be coming over to wholesale and they just don't know better. I think the best way to be involved is to be involved in the Facebook groups, going out to AIME events and getting to know each other, and then really understanding the resources that are available and, Googling it yourself so that they can help someone else. And that's what it's all about.
Awesome. Claire, and then Michelle, what are your thoughts?
I think participating in Brokers Are Better conversations in the group, tagging us if you have like something that you'd like to see us tackling, or topics that you feel like are, man, this is really what I would want to hear about first. I'd love to hear like what people are looking to learn more about or dig deeper into. You can obviously message me too, and I will be at Fuse, and so you can just like come introduce yourself, and maybe we'll have a drink together and let's talk about it.
That we do also at Fuse, all of our committee members will have a separate pin so that you know who they are for them to wear on their lanyard. So it'll be really easy to see who our committee members are so that you can identify them. If you've never met Claire, Tyler, Michelle in person, they'll have a little pin on their lanyard at Fuse so you can see. And then that way, hopefully we help foster some of those conversations, because that's the time to swap stories, swap ideas, see what else we can be doing, setting goals for the following year, all that kind of stuff. Michelle, what about you? What are your thoughts?
I really hope that everybody that's a member of AIME, and especially the Brokers Are Better group, that they realize the true value in our community. So if you're a newer originator and you've always had the ability to jump into a community like this, it's not always been that way. So when I started out, I would have loved to have been able to just pop in a Facebook group, ask a quick question, and then pop out and get right back to my career. But I couldn't. I had to, that's how I became a guideline nerd, because I had to actually just open the books and start reading myself. Even Google wasn't smart enough back then to try to search guidelines and stuff. So I hope that our community recognizes the importance and just the value that we truly do have here. And then also I want to make sure that we always have grace too for new originators that join us. Everybody's not going to know all the things that and so you can't compare someone's day one with your year 10 and vice versa. So there's going to be people that pop in the group and they're going to ask the most basic questions, of course, in AIME. And I hope that our members will also become passionate about helping all of the other originators grow as a whole. And let's not attack somebody over a simple question. Let's all work together, because when we work together, then we get stronger, and that's why Brokers Are Better. So that's what I'm really looking forward to too.
Michelle, there are a lot of new people. Our group has grown, our community has grown massively over the last year. And I think that's something people forget sometimes. Not only are there a lot of resources, there's also a lot of new members, right? I mean, this time last year, we were in the Facebook group alone, we're about 6,500 people. We're almost 11,500 now. So that's 5,000 people in 12 months that haven't had exposure to AIME for an extended period of time. And we continue to grow. We outpace ourselves every month. So it is just continuing to snowball and get even bigger. And it's that educating others in our community is not just about giving back to them. It also elevates the reputation of all of us, right? If we're helping others learn and then they're out in the world spreading the message about brokers, then all of a sudden going back to what Claire was saying, that reputation tied to the word broker just continues to get stronger and stronger and stronger until it becomes the thing that everybody wants to be a part of. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it all starts with helping educate our own communities, our consumers, our real estate agents, the industry as a whole, helping them understand a little bit better the impact that the wholesale channel can have and what good brokers can do. We're not an adversary. We're advocates for consumers at the end of the day, and we're the best at it. I'm very excited about this committee. If you cannot tell, all of these guys are absolutely amazing. Chris and Kubi, who will join us at some point in the future when they're able to, are just as excited and just as engaging as the three of y'all. So thank you so much for joining us. If you're interested in getting involved with the Education and Outreach Committee, you can drop a comment here on this Facebook Live. You can email us to info@aimegroup.com. Anything, just let us know. And if there are things that you want to see this committee get involved in, put those recommendations here as well. First-time home buyer courses, how to start your own brokerage, what to do when you can't find the guideline, anything, any ideas that you have that would help make an impact immediately, drop that in there and we'll get to work. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll see you all at Fuse.